There's a kind of pain that makes you stop talking. Not because you've got nothing to say, but because every word comes out wrong. You try to explain it, and people nod like they get it, but you can feel it in your bones. They don't. They hear the outline, not the weight. They catch the headline, not the funeral. After a while, you stop reaching. Not because you want to be alone, but because being misunderstood starts to feel worse than being silent. So you learn how to fake normal. You show up, you answer, you smile just enough to keep people off your back. You become a body moving through the day, while the real you stays buried somewhere under the floorboards. People call you strong because you're still standing. They don't realize standing ain't the same thing as living. Sometimes it's just what a man does when collapsing in public would make the wolves feel too comfortable. The worst part wasn't the pain. It was the advice. Clean little sayings from people who never bled where you bled. Talk to somebody. Let it go. Stay positive. They hand you soft words from a safe distance like that settles the score. But some things don't fit inside polite language. Some wounds are too ugly to package. And when people keep offering answers too small for the problem, you start wondering if maybe this really is a road nobody can walk with you. That's when the walls go up. Not dramatic, not loud, just brick by brick. You stop telling the truth in full sentences. You ration yourself. You give people the version they can handle and keep the real damage behind your teeth. Because once you've learned nobody can carry it with you, the next instinct is simple. Don't let them touch it at all. You start guarding the ruins like there's still something sacred buried under the ash. But Payne's got a slick tongue. It starts whispering things that sound like truth. Nobody gets it. Nobody could. Nobody would stay if they really knew. That's how isolation makes its money. It takes a real wound and builds a religion around it. And the longer you worship at that altar, the harder it gets to tell the difference between being alone and choosing exile because it hurts less than risking disappointment again. Here's the part nobody tells you. Sometimes help doesn't start with being fully understood. Sometimes it starts with being honest in front of somebody who doesn't have the perfect words, but stays anyway. That's a harder truth to swallow, because if total understanding is the price of entry, then nobody gets in. Not all the way. Not even the people who love you. Human beings don't crawl inside each other's skulls. They just choose whether to leave when the darkness starts talking. Maybe the goal was never to find somebody who could feel it exactly like you. Maybe that was the trap. Maybe what you really needed was one place, one person, one moment where you didn't have to keep carrying it alone every second of the day. Not because they solved it, not because they translated it, just because for a minute, the weight had somewhere else to sit, besides your chest. Sometimes that's the first miracle you get. A lot of men drown because they think being unreadable is the same thing as being unbreakable. They go under quiet, efficient, controlled. They keep their posture while the inside caves in. I know that trick. It feels noble right up until it starts poisoning the people around you. That's the real danger of carrying everything alone too long. The pain doesn't stay contained. It leaks into your temper, your home, your love, your sleep, your name. So what do you do when nobody seems like they'd understand? You stop waiting for perfect understanding. You say it badly if you have to. You say the ugly version, the unfinished version, the version with pauses in it. Because silence makes the wound look bigger than it is, and shame makes it look permanent. You don't need a perfect translator for your pain. You just need to stop letting it be the only voice in the room. Maybe nobody will ever understand it exactly the way you do. Maybe that part stays yours. But that doesn't mean help is impossible. It just means help won't look like mind reading. It'll look like honesty, repetition, trust built slow, the right people earning pieces of what you've been protecting. That's how you survive this kind of loneliness. Not by finding someone who becomes you, but by letting someone stand beside you long enough that the dark stops sounding like the only thing that knows your name.